Alright guys, thought I'd make a video. I did a dumb little test by snapping or smacking some of these knives on a steel beam at work. 3 good whacks, and I decided to see what damage this took. This is a Kuwnu Stiffy P and Vanadis 8. And I actually stropped a good bit of this out. You can see the little chips. I'm trying to focus it. But that's what Vanadis 8 did with 3 smacks versus the Benchmade. I've been using this today, but you can see it's a lot more apparent right here. I haven't tried to strop this yet. I need to clean it first because I don't like wiping dirty knives on my strops, but the damage is more apparent on the M4. So this is Tool Steel M4, CPM M4, and this is Vanadis 8. So they did a nice job. Now granted, this is at around 20 degrees, I believe, per side. This is at 17. A little bit more meat behind the edge on this one, but still, I think that's a pretty good sign for Vanadis 8, to be honest with you. But I'm going to try to get this clamped and sharpened up. Someone wanted to see the video, so you have to excuse me while this gets moved around. I had to put my single clamp back on, so I was using my doubles here. Last knife I sharpened was this amazing Santoku, handmade, hand forged in Japan. It's only 150 millimeters, but this one is 13 degrees and stupid sharp. I thought I'd make a video on this guy, so I might have to do some clamp adjustments, or it might clamp right away. There we go. So heel tip. I don't really have a fixed way of clamping stuff. I think this will be like maybe a 1 stone fix, maybe 2 stones. I'm gonna start with the CBN 400 because the damage isn't too bad. I just gotta really fix that part right here, but I'm gonna sharpen the whole thing. And then what I always do, I can't remember exactly the angle. I think it's either 20 or 22, 20, 21, 22, something like that. It's between 22 and 20. I'm marking this so I can see if I'm hitting it. I always Sharpie on my first pass unless I'm absolutely sure what the angle is. Okay. Got my little cheap, I don't know where I got this from. Set my angle. Zeroing it right now on the base. And get a middle ground on the blade, and yeah, 13.25 degrees right now because I had it set down for the Santoku. First I will go to 20. I would advise, if you're not sure of the angle and you don't want to mess up the bevel, using a higher grit, but these are users, so I don't really care. So dialing it at 20.00, it's close enough. And then I'm gonna check my stops, make sure they're good. Like I said, just to show, this was the damage on the M4, which isn't horrible. This was still cutting. I was able to break down cardboard all afternoon after I smacked it against steel on the M4. And it'll still cut. I was cutting down straps and stuff at work. Coating seems to hold pretty good. There is some damage from, I guess, where it was used before. I am not the original owner. But yeah, this has been pretty fun. Very ergonomic. Sorry to get off topic, guys. Alright, let's see if you guys can... Sorry for the angle, guys. I need to get a tripod. Yeah, it looks to be 21 or 22 maybe. Maybe 21. Because I'm taking the Sharpie off the top of the bevel for you wondering. Alright, 21.0. Tighten that up. Let's see how that hits. Nope, it's it's 22. Alright, 22. I don't like reprofiling unnecessarily, unless I am asked to, because that just takes time. And this is a, there we go. And if you notice, I am using these stones with dry. I don't notice a big difference between it and using my usual trend mapping fluid. Sorry, let me straighten up the camera. There we go. So this was actually 22 degrees per side, so my mistake. I don't have the best memory. Flip. Yeah, it's already got a burr on the other side. Well, that's to be expected. If you're going to be sharpening at the set bevel, you should get a burr pretty immediately, unless there's a significant amount of damage to the steel itself. Notice that Sharpie's coming off, because like I said, this is already profiled. This is going to be my one stone, one strop sharpening fix. Basically all I'm doing is making sure the little chips are gone. And obviously the more you sharpen, you're going to wear away at that steel until you know, lose the damaged area. Wipe off some of this steel. Now, one nice thing about running it dry is you don't have to keep reapplying oil or water or lubricant or whatever you use. Bad part is you get steel particles everywhere, because usually this acts like it collects it all, it keeps it in one place, whereas you get steel dust everywhere when you're doing it dry. So pros and cons for both. So now I'm just checking to see. It's already fixed. I'm just going to go one more pass on this side, one more pass on the other, and then I'll deburr and strop. So the actual sharpening part doesn't take long at all. So this is using J400 CBM, which is roughly about 500 grit, I think. I'm going to wipe this off again so I can see this. Obviously, I can see the burr on this side. I can feel the burr. I have my little headlight, which is I'm using to record, a little off angle, so I can't see the burr glinting off like I normally can as well. But it's still, but you can still feel it. I do like the visual cue a lot better than having to feel it every time. It's just quicker that I can just examine it and not have to feel it, but I still touch it. If you're not, again, familiar with the burr, when you're sharpening and you're taking steel off this little angle, as you hit the edge, you're gonna start getting little bits of steel that kind of roll over each other. That's that extra steel means that you've apexed, or you've met the 2 points at an angle, and that's your edge. That little extra bit of steel you wanna gently take off so you expose that sharp edge. All I'm using is just a paper towel and rubbing alcohol. I prefer 91% isopropyl. I feel like there's a little bit of a chip, so I may keep going. I'm trying to, it's hard to feel it, but I can kind of see it with the light. I may re-profile this later on down the line. I just don't want to do it tonight. Like I said, I hate reprofiling for no reason unless I'm like trying something. I'm kind of over my experimentation phase. And you noticed I'm kind of finishing all the strokes from heel to tip. That's making sure that all the scratch patterns are aligned. And if it's a larger blade, I may do it in steps. Wipe that off again. When you do that, just be careful not to hit the edge. Yeah, I just see a one. If you look under the light, I don't know if you can see it on video, but there's a burr, it stops, a burr, it stops, and there's a burr all the way to the tip. So that means there's 2 spots that I'm missing, and that's. I could really speed this up by going to a lower grit, but I don't want to hog off a bunch of metal steel. I'm just trying to take off the minimum to fix that damaged area. With this one, with the damage being a little more, I may go a little lower just to quicken it up. But that's going to take a little longer, but it's the same process. I'm going to say that after this, it should be, those little gaps in the burr should be gone. Yep, they're gone. So now I'm just going to worry about, I'm just going to do heel to tip strokes with lighter pressure. This is going to flip the burr to the other side. Now the burr's flipped on this side, now I'm going to do the same thing. Now it's back to this side. What I'm doing is I'm flipping that burr, kind of like you're removing a tin can lid, back and forth, gently, until you eventually minimize it or gently take it off. That's to expose the sharpest apex as you can. If you just rip it off completely or leave it on there, you're not going to get a clean edge. I'm also feeling, I don't feel a snag. And it's a little snag here since the burr's flipped to this side now. I gotta admit, even at 400 or J400 or 500 grit, this Vanadis 8 from Kuwnu's deburrs pretty easily. Sometimes some steels you gotta go higher and higher in grit to deburr easily on a stone. And the reason depending on how much the burr's moving, I may stay on one side longer while I'm doing the deburring strokes. But this one, since it's doing well, I may just do one pass, like I'm doing in stages. That's one pass from heel to tip. Then I flip. And it's getting there. This is probably a very boring and tedious thing to watch, and I apologize, but I figured I'd just post it. Not much for editing. I don't have a computer. All I have is a phone, so editing videos is really not something I have skill or tools for. But you're getting it uncut, mistakes and all. But what I also did is I did strop this on I think 6 micron stroppy stuff on my freehand strop, and it actually made it usable even with the chips. See, when I run my finger across, I don't feel that the breakage, the bumps there anymore. And if I were to move it down, you can't see it either. And overall, this didn't take much time. Alright, I'm pretty good with that. Now before I strop, I will clean this off best I can because I don't want to make my strops dirty. just trying to get any remaining steel particles off. I don't know where the scratches come from. I've been using this knife a lot, so if you notice, this side's got some haze, and it's got a bit of a patina from food cutting, which I don't really care about. Alright, I can feel the bite. Burr's pretty small. I could go up I could do that some more, but that's gonna get a little boring. So now I'm going to strop it. So normally I clean these stones off before I put them away, but I'll just set it to the side for now. Now I've got the Stroppy stuff, leather strop, loaded with Stroppy stuff. I have it labeled 1 micron. Really nicely backed 6x1 by Max, who runs Stroppy stuff. He makes amazing emulsions, and these leather straps are fantastic. They're stiff. The finish is great on them. I'll load that on my bar. Make sure it's even. And what I will do is I will check the angle again to make sure I am stropping at the same angle. If I have a really squishy strop, I usually go a little bit lower angle than the actual sharpening angle. But this is a real stiff strop, so I usually try to hit the same angle, which was 21 degrees. Let me make sure that's what it was. There we go. Yeah, so I usually, the stiffer the leather on a strop or material that you're stropping with, I usually try to match the angle I sharpen that. If it's a softer, squishier leather, I'll lower the angle a bit. That way I'm not, because you're gonna get some push against the steel if the leather strop is squishy. But with me, I don't use a lot of pressure. I start at the head. And just stropping it, and notice that blue tint, that's the actual emulsion. The great thing about Stroppy stuff is they come color coded. Like this is the 1 micron, which is I'm using here. You can easily identify what you're using. The next one I have is a 0.25 micron, which is yellow, and that's going to show up on your strop, so you know which one you're using. But I like to keep these in individual baggies because the strops are really nice, and I don't want them cross-contaminated with each other. My other strops are in less of a good shape. These are held up super well, and I'm more careful with these, so I haven't gouged them yet. But yeah, careful with your strops. I might be doing it fast, but what I'm doing is I'm going from the tip, and I'm going down. When I'm raising, I'm lifting it off the edge, because I don't want to cut into my strop. And the more stubborn the burr, the longer I would be stropping. As soon as I'm done with that, I will put it back in its bag and seal it. To clean it, I just use a white polymer eraser to take off that buildup, which is the dark stuff, and then I'll reapply emulsion as needed. I have a couple of these in different bags so they don't cross-contaminate, but you can tell this is the blue, which is the 1 micron. This is 0.25. This color is real pale. It's a 0.1 micron for Stroppy stuff. Get this unclamped. Set that there. I'll get my paper towel. Just do a quick cleaning of it. Okay. as you can see, that damage is gone. I'm trying to do this through the camera. No snags on there. Like I said, I just did it at its, what did I say, 21? No, 22 degrees per side. I think 22. All right, let's see how it cuts. I'm still figuring out Vanadis 8, to be honest with you. Not sure what the best thing for me would be. All fixed. All right, there you go. Video ran a little long, but I figured I'd take my time. But that's me fixing a chipped up Vanadis 8 EDC fixed blade by Kuwnu.